Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending this session today. A few words about myself. My name is Yuval Zacharia. I'm a military-trained cyber researcher. My experience includes threat hunting, incident response, and my best skill is getting into an attacker's head. Today, I'm running the research team at Hunters, which is responsible of detection engineering, both rule-based, statistical, or machine learning-based. On my free time, I like to dance ballet and to cook. In this session, we will cover the challenges in detection of supply chain attacks, understand the blast radius, and response on time. We will demonstrate it by telling the story of Codecov. We will explain the real-time approach of continuous monitoring and correlating signals. Feel free to ask me any questions on the chat. In the recent years, there is a rise in technologies that organizations use in order to deploy, develop, and maintain their products. Actually, an average organization uses at least 7 to 10 different technologies, including backend, infra, SaaS services, and no less than 10 different products to manage IT in the organization. There are multiple attack vectors and a rising amount of technologies that require security, management of permissions and access, and we barely see organizations without endpoint, identity, and cloud protection tools. Before we drill into Codecov, let's talk a bit about CI/CD. In the last slide, we just saw the rich technology stack and services that an organization use. Development teams requires a way to synchronize their code and infrastructure, so they will be able to deploy code safely. Basically, CI/CD is a method to frequently deliver apps to customers by introducing automation into the stages of app development. So a basic CI/CD implementation will integrate with different services that the company uses. So what is Codecov? It is a platform for code coverage. It allows management and visibility of code, testing, and deployment. The service connects to code repositories such as GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket, and sync the code with Codecov repositories. It reduces the complexity of managing code across different teams, and moreover, helping development teams and DevOps teams validate the code is able to run continuously and deployed correctly. As you can see, Codecov as a platform requires integration and access to many platforms in order to support the wide variety of tools that different organizations utilize. So if you want to see where Codecov sits in the old stack, it is a SaaS service that integrates to many infra and backend services. This is the homepage of Codecov. They ship healthier code with less risk, and there are around 3,000 organizations that use it. Yes, this is a big number. Cut to the chase. Codecov Google Cloud infrastructure was attacked by an unknown actor. The actor managed to steal their cloud storage keys. Then they found a vulnerability within their Docker image that later allowed the attacker to modify Codecov's bash uploader, which is part of the solution that resides within continuous integration systems for organizations that use it. What happened? On the 31st of January, the attacker successfully overwritten the bash uploader. This means that any organization that is downloading the compromised piece of code is a very high risk. As you can see, the attackers added only one line that allowed them to steal the environment's credentials and exfiltrate them via curl to their controlled server. Codecov's customers started leaking their secrets immediately, once they automatically used the compromised bash uploader. Okay, wait, but what secrets? It is commonly that development teams keep secrets within environment variable, so the attacker was able to steal them. They contained all secrets within the CI environment. This includes cloud and code repos access tokens. They are used to automate many of the processes within the continuous integration platforms. On April 1st, a Codecov customer found out something is wrong by comparing hashes of the bash uploader, but the attackers were already operating for 2 months unnoticed. This is a very delicate piece of code from a trusted vendor that usually no one suspects. 2 weeks later, Codecov alerted all of their customers and started the investigation. That's a security notice that released to their customers, the Bash Uploader security update that fixed the issue. Let's take a moment. If I'm a CISO of a company and I see this message, any credentials, tokens, or keys that are passed through CI runners, any services, data store, and application code could be accessed. That's a big deal. As you can see, no company was left out. Google, IBM, HP, even security firms were affected. Okay, let's recap. The Codecov Bash Uploader was compromised via a Docker image. Secrets that were used by the CI runner were sent to a malicious actor server. Only 2 months later, all of Codecov's customers were informed. They received a list of suspicious IPs to search their infras and organization-wide access. They were acting as already breached, which is too little too late. So where do we start? As we can see, attackers have basically access to anything owned by the organizations. There are many ways in and many ways out. So what do we do? Let's try to look at this story from a different angle. Once the attacker is already in, we're out. So how can we understand what's going on here before it's too late? I'm talking about a real-time approach that continuously monitors organizations' environments to be able to identify these cases at the moment they happen. We need to find a needle in a haystack. Actually, multiple needles in multiple haystacks. And we don't even know if they exist at this time. Let's look at a specific case that we took part in its research. Let's explain what may happen. The attacker compromised Codecov. The organization used the Bash uploader within their infra. The same day, the attacker gained access to access tokens, and on the same day, they gained access to AWS infrastructure and exfiltrated all code repos from Github. So what can we learn and how can we detect it? There was an anomalous root login to AWS. There was a reconnaissance activity within AWS using the root tokens, and a GitHub access token was used to fork all code repos. But how is that possible with all SSO and identity systems? Usually, Okta or other identity systems federates the authorization of users to different SaaS and cloud platforms. Here, not many organizations enable this MFA federation to root or admin users with their own privileged access tokens. Diving into the data, we saw one of the actors' IPs, IOC that was released in the security update. The same IP that attacked Codecov's infra also infiltrate customers' environments via root login to AWS, enumeration of AWS S3 buckets, exfiltration of companies' secrets, databases, and customer information, copying entire GitHub code repos. This went unnoticed for almost 3 months. So how can we detect this in real time? First, organizations require visibility to all of their use platforms. We have to continuously monitor all the data sources that we got. Then we need to deploy detections within different attack surfaces, and basically need to cover everything: cloud, SaaS, identity, endpoints, and network, and have detections running continuously to monitor those environments. We also need to cover post-exploitation TTPs to guard and search for suspicious activities that we can later utilize during hunting process. But there are many infras, multiple domains, and as a result, hundreds and thousands of signals. Remember many needles in many haystacks? Connecting the dots, we identified anomalous behavior in different data sources within the organization. Obviously, everything by itself is not enough to tell that something is going on. The next question is, how can we connect the dots? There is always something there. In this specific case, the IP address or the AWS access key that was used for the leak. If we'll be able to correlate different signals automatically in real time and tell the full story while it is still happening, we'll be able to respond and prevent the attack before it's too late. Thank you everyone for joining me. If you have any questions, please write it on the chat and I will be happy to answer them.